What's up, Reefers? This is Alex Corals. This is Alex Wilson, your host, and I have more of the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's check it out. Alright, guys, as main displays looked about the same as last time. Yellow Tang's hanging out, eating a lot of green algae everywhere, of course, doing his job. So, see how close he'll let me get. And zoom in on him, possibly. Yeah. He's shy. Going back to safety over there. Everything else looking about the same though. Brown. As usual. There's a good look at him. And nice, fat and sassy off the nori. It's pretty much all he eats. Doesn't want to eat any flake yet. Doesn't really like flake too much or anything else but nori. Same for his brother down the sump. And he's still down there hanging out. So here, so what I'm going to check out is one thing. I have this got that Australian live rock yesterday, and so one of the things why it's like with the live rock, you have the advantages and disadvantages, and one of the main disadvantages is with the parasites, especially with the Caribbean live rock. You have the Aiptasia anemones, and so on the flip side, the Pacific live rock, it has the Manjano anemones. And these Manjano anemones, these are the ones that you have to kind of look out at. They're kind of similar to the Aiptasia, except that they're slightly bigger. And but yeah, I think they're a little less common though. But that's just what I kind of feel for it. However, I think that I did see one over here on the mushroom rock right there. Well, the clam. The clam with the discosoma rock right there on him. So I think it's hard to see, and I saw them at night, when the mushrooms were closed up. So I might keep an eye on him. Might try to get that out of there. But anyway, another thing that I wanted to mention was that I read in the Coral magazine on this month's issue, and they were talking about how the tridacnid clams, and they're specifically mentioning that they did a study on the maximus, and they were saying that there was in the Red Sea, and in the Red Sea, they found that the areas where they've been exposed to a little bit of the pollution, runoff from the cities, from the shores. I think it's some runoff pollution that they have elevated. Well, I suppose it's both elevated nitrates and phosphates, but they were specifically mentioning nitrates in that they saw in these elevated nitrate areas that the maximus were growing 50% faster. So they were 50% faster than on other areas that weren't exposed to the elevated nitrate levels on the pollution. So that's kind of interesting, and certainly, our reason to try to do the same in the aquarium, keep your nitrates up, and so it's probably beneficial for them to do that. So that's one of the things too. It's like I felt like my other well, I don't know for sure, but the crocea that I had, I think I starved it out, and that's might happen to a lot of people who have clams, especially if they have a lot of like an SPS system, where they're running a lot of equipment and a lot of nutrient uptake, a lot of competition from the corals, for nutrients. So they might just get starved out in a lot of cases. So they might benefit, from the elevated nitrates, elevated phosphates, high nutrients. Yeah, the reef roids, type of zooplankton, as well as the phytoplankton. Supposedly they take straight up, like I said too. Then and so that there you get into conflict of adding too much phytoplankton, and trying to. Oh my God, that's the doorbell. Sorry about that. Let's get this guy out. There we go. Doorbell. Okay, so yeah, elevated phosphates on the nitrates, and just trying to make sure that you're adding too much, and then you're adding killing off a lot of your corals that you're trying to maintain your low nutrients. So definitely clams are probably a good option for the high nutrient reef system. So a lot of people, that are running into running the low nutrient reefs, maybe they're having problems there with the clams, and especially just new systems in general. It's probably best to let them wait like they're right in there with the SPS and the acropora as far as taking up alkalinity and is and appreciate probably aquarium maturity. That's an important thing. Is just the maturity of the aquarium. It's probably good to wait a good 6 months, to let the system establish, or a year for adding them. But it depends on which specific species you're talking about. See, like I have the squamosa right there. This one is the squamosa. Let's check him out. He's a gold with the blue rim. And with this guy, they're definitely the hardiest side of the clams, along with the Durasas. Right, the Durasas is right in the same, about the same as the squamosa as far as which is more hardy. But I prefer the squamosa. The Durasas are beautiful too, but they just get slightly bigger. I think they get up to the full 20, maybe 20, 24 inches long, whereas these guys are like 18. So they're slightly smaller than the Durasas. So that's one thing about them. And then the Maximas, though, they're definitely right there with the Croceas as far as being, really sensitive and will just, to something, disease or just, weakness from shipping and everything else. They're just more sensitive. And, oh yeah, plus they require, they're from shallower waters. And they're only found in shallow waters. Therefore, they definitely require as much light as you can give them. And the squamosa, or on the other hand, along with the Durasa, they're found in, they're also found in deeper waters. But it's not just deeper waters. I mean, they're found throughout, from shallow down deep, and that's the same as the Durasas. And, okay, so over here, the Hippopus is right in here with the Maximas. They're only found in the shallow waters, and they require, so they can certainly use all of the light, you could possibly give them as well, right up there with the Acroporas. We're talking like, 350 par to, up to the 700 or whatever is the max, for the Acropora, and they're right on the shallows. So, it's crazy that the mouth on this guy opens so far up you can completely see inside of it. And it's like, it's pretty, see his gills in there, and it's like, you can see the coloration, gold coloration all on the inside of the mouth there. But yeah, that's this gills right here taking water in. So, yep. Yeah, let's check out the green slimer, see how he's doing, and got my fingers crossed so far. Good polyp extension still. the coloration. So can't see if it's encrusting more on the rock. Almost have to just give it a week, in 2 weeks, and then come back and like take pictures, before and after pictures. That's probably what I should do, so I can see any difference. Otherwise, you see corals every day, and then they look, you like adjust. It's hard to see the really subtle changes, right? So screws over here, and yeah, mushrooms are hanging out, and yeah, so I put the shade up here for this for the orange mushroom, so hopefully they'll recover. And oh yeah, so I wanted to mention that. So here's the Australian rock again, and I forgot to mention that I bought, it says 8 pounds of it. So yeah, it's strange. It has the variety like mounds right there, and they're not expected to survive because they were just shipped in dry, and then they were shipped to me just in the, well, not dry, but with the wet paper towels and newspaper, and that's how they were shipped to me from Unique Corals as well. So just a real small amount of water, almost nothing, and wrapped. So yeah, here's in the pieces right here, and so keep an eye out here for the Manjano anemones, right? So here's a look. This is one big piece, and I broke that one up. Along the other one was one big piece too. I broke that one up. So I just wanted some small random pieces like this because I didn't want big pieces where I wouldn't be able to because my frag aquarium is too shallow. So I wanted the rocks to be really, really low in it, like I have it, so I could put the corals on top of them as a base, right? And I don't want to get up too high because I don't only have 14 inches, or less actually to work with. The actual glass is 14 inches, so probably have like 12 inches or 13 tops to actually work with there. So anyway, okay guys, that's it. I guess that's another update on that one, and we'll look for the next reefing episode. Happy reefing. Bye.